Hi, this is Mrs. Often, and right now we're going to look at how to write an equation from a graph of a piecewise function. So let's get started. I'm just going to begin by labeling the origin on all of my graphs here. So it makes it a little bit easier. We are going to assume that we're counting by ones. So in my first equation, I have f of x, and I have the first part is going to be x less than or equal to 0, and the second part is going to be x greater than 0. And I know that because of the closed circle on my left-hand side and the open circle on my right-hand side. Calculating my slope, I see that I have a slope of 1/3, and I have a y-intercept of 2. So I'll go ahead and write that. 1/3 x plus 2, and that's when x is less than or equal to 0. Looking down here, I have a y-intercept of 1, 2, 3, 4, -5, and a slope of +1. So that's going to be x minus 5 for my linear equation, and that happens when x is greater than 0. Moving on to problem 13 shown here, we have three pieces of the graph. I have a line with negative slope when x is less than -1. I have a constant function when x is between -1 and 3. And I have another line with negative slope when x is greater than or equal to 3. So let's go ahead and write those functions. So again, just beginning by noting that I have x less than -1. I have -1 between x between -1 and +3, and I have x greater than or equal to +3. So my first one, I notice that this has a slope of -1, and if I were to continue this line, it would have a y-intercept of -2. So there's my first part of my equation. My second piece is a constant function, and that constant function is valued at 4. And then finally, I have a line with a slope of -2. And if I were to continue this line, it would have a y-intercept of +5. So that is -2x plus 5 for my final piece. I'm just going to put these dots a little clearer on my semicolons, and you'll notice again that the semicolons indicate the end of the function rule and the start of the domain restriction for that part of the rule. Our final problem here, problem 14, has a constant function when x is less than -4. It has a linear function when x is between -4 and less than or equal to +2, and it has a line with negative slope when x is greater than 2. So let's write this function. When x is less than 4, the value of x is, or the value of the function is -2. When x is between -4 and +2, we have a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of 4, so that's going to be 1/2 x plus 4. And then our final equation, we have a slope of -3/2, and that would give a y-intercept of 1. So we're going to have -3/2x plus 1, and that will be the equation to use whenever x is greater than +2. So that's how you write the equation of a piecewise function when looking at a graph.